Welcome back to another video in the episode of the Jap. The Jap? I don't know if that's what I'm calling it, the Jap. The Fuji, the White Discovery. Sorry, I don't know if you can, it's a bit noisy. I'm moving the white BMW back so that I can bring the Disco, Fuji, whatever we're calling it, into this space down here. I think this video, last video you'll have seen me getting the car ready for its MOT. I don't think I've given an update on that and any of the problems that are left with the car that I need to fix. Not modifications, just things which need fixing. That's the modification side of things, is videos that are coming in the future. And then it's not had an oil change since I've done the timing chain work. So I'm interested to do a quick oil change. And by quick I mean I suck the oil out, not a dump out the bottom, and just see what colour it is. I think I got a little bit of water in the oil when I changed the oil cooler. So I want to see, is that evaporated off into the breather, or is it has it mixed with some of the oil and making it look a bit milky? But I've looked through the top and it looks absolutely fine through the filler cap. So let's bring it back down and then I'll show you what's what. Oh, let's turn this guy off first. Let's get her in the back here. I've just taken her for a quick spin. I've already been out in this morning, so it's fairly warm, but just top it back up again. So I think I'm going to do the oil first because it's warm and I've spun it round now, and then I'll talk about all the issues that are left on the car after I've done it. So let's do a quick suction out. On this car, it's inside the filler, the suction tube just there. Just before I crack on then, I'm just going to show you everything, hopefully everything, I've not forgotten anything, everything that I've got that I would normally do this with. So I'll crack this off in a minute, just let that drain, the oil filter, let that drain back into the sump. So for this car, it's one of these guys. Wrench and a tug wrench to do it back up. 25 newton meters plus 5. I've got it's on the floor, Hengst oil filter. I just keep all my oil filter stuff together ready for all the cars in one little box. So Hengst oil filter, genuine, to replace. And I've got some new pumps for this job. I've already had one of these in the past and it broke on me. It's my fault though, I messed around and broke it. So I've got a new one, a higher powered one for sucking up cold oil, and this one I use for extracting the warm oil out of the car, which has an easier job, so it doesn't need to be that high powered. So that's for sucking it out. I just need to plumb these tubes on and then push them on that tube there. And then this one, so what I do is I extract it out into a bottle that's got graduations on it. I've measured this with water beforehand, so I know exactly how much is coming out. So let's say 5, 6, 7 litres. I might have to do it obviously in a couple of goes. And then I measure it as I'm going along and I'll pour it into this old drum here, which I've got marked as dirty on it. It just stays outside, I don't care about this. And then when it's full, I take it to the recycling centre and just empty it. So that's the dirty stuff. And then obviously, because I know exactly what I've taken out, I can then use my cold pump to suck out of this drum, which is obviously cold, sat in the garage, exactly the same amount into this, which is for clean oil, and then I can pour it straight back in to the filler using one of these laser funnels which got a cap on both sides so it doesn't get dirty while it's in storage. And that's it. It's super quick. It takes me a lot longer because I've got to show you guys what to do. Probably would have done it by now, but yeah, the suction method is super quick. And if you go back and watch my previous video where I've done the timing chains, it leaves like maybe, I don't know, 50 mils in the sump if you don't do the a sump plug method from the bottom. So I'm quite happy with that, considering I'm not actually sure how many miles it's done. I'll check. I'll have to go check on the MOT how many miles it's driven since doing all the work to it, putting fresh oil in, take it to its MOT, and then today I'll tell you how many miles it's done. It'll be in the hundreds. I don't even know if I've done 1,000 miles on it yet, but I just want to dump it out with this man-oil stuff, use it as a bit of a flush, and then I'll put some decent Castrol stuff in it after, yeah, maybe a true 5,000 miles or so, which is like probably more than a year's worth of usage for us in this car, because we just don't do many miles. Sorry about the noise, somebody's doing some work over there. It's like a planer or something. I took this for a little rip a few weeks ago as well. It was the first time I'd opened the taps up on the motorway, and you can really hear that it's a V8, but once it gets about 3,500 revs it starts to scream, like sort of more induction noise than exhaust noise. So it's got this big intake plenum here with these sort of harmonic resonators on it. It's got these two here and these two here, and I'm wondering what it sounds like if you chop these off and modify it, and then obviously maybe put a cotton filter, which I mentioned in a previous video I've got in the Range Rover, which I think fit this. Might sound pretty good. It might also be a bit obnoxious for a daily drive, and you can, don't know, might just irritate me on the daily, but these are quite hard to come by, because I think this is specific for this normally aspirated 5-litre V8, either in this car or in, I'm not sure if it's the same in the Jag. I think it's different in the Jag, only in the Range Rover, the L322, obviously non-supercharged, and there's not many of those about, so they're not too cheap. And then I have to figure out a way of blanking these off, maybe using some fiberglass or something, I don't know, but just a little something I'm going to think about for the future. Get this battery tray cover off. There we go, it's easy. Right, so what I've done is, this is the hose that comes with it, and it doesn't fit the suction tube on this. I've got this tiny little bit of silicone hose, and I've pushed it as far as I can with maybe a centimetre, because if you push this on that tube, try this on the Range Rover, you push it too far, you could never get them off. They're just the heat and what have you, they're a nightmare to get off, so don't push it on too far. And here's the tube that comes out. Now let's just hook it up to the battery, get it sucking. I think I'll just test it first because it's a new pump. That's good. Close up, give me a shot. It's on there, it's on there, it's in there. Ignore these clamps here, that's for a solar panel when I'm not using the car very often. I just plug it into this little plug here, keep it trickling. Let's give it a go. It's a bit noisier than the last pump, this one. I think it is slightly more high powered. I think that's as much as we're going to get. And it's got just shy of 5 litres out, which doesn't seem like a lot, but is what it is. You can have a lot still within all the timing, gear, and just coating everything really. It's not going to all come out, so that's fine. Let's dunk this in that drum and then replace it. See if I can do this without having to get a funnel. Yeah, easy. Although I think it's time to change this big barrel. It's getting full. I think I just about got away with it. That's it for the draining on this, super simple. Little tip on this, obviously put the bungs back on there, but it's just to double the hoses up so that they don't leak in the box. I mean, some of it's going to get out, but if you can limit it, it's just a nice little clean job. No dunking of oil everywhere. Well, let's get on to the fresh oil. Test out this new pump, because I don't know if it's going to be up to it, because it's cold oil. But we'll give it a go. It's much heavier, and obviously it's got a metal body on it. Can't remember, I think I got these both from China, and if anyone is interested in where I got them from, then drop a comment and ask me, and I'll put the link. So let's get these hoses plumbed in. Probably should have mentioned why I'm doing this, is because these big drums are just a nightmare to tip and lift without wasting a lot of oil. So that's why I'm having to do this. Obviously, if you've got, and I buy these because in bulk they're obviously much cheaper per litre, but if you're not bothered, just get the 5 litres and you don't need to do all this. But that's how I want to do it. I'm just putting these in, by the way. Little car guy rant. Why are these 16mm? Who uses 16mm? I need a deep 16mm socket. Really annoys me when there's weird sizes. And then these are really tight. It feels like it's cross-threading, but it's not. It's just not manufactured very well. Rant over. Right, she's plumbed in. I didn't think it was working at first, but the hose that comes with it is so like sort of rigid and curly that I pushed it in, it had curled up to the top. I'm just sucking air in. Didn't think the pump was coping, but it does cope. I've just extended it a bit with some of this straighter stuff. So let's crack her on. Whilst that's doing, let's get this filter out and changed. Hard to say if there's any sparkly bits in these, because it's like the plastic stuff's reflective. I can't see anything immediate, so we're looking good. I might expect to see something anyway, just from the process of doing all the timing chain work. You're going to get a bit of swarf in there. So let's get this changed over. A little notch on this one. Made in Bulgaria. With that, there's 4 litres. Funnel in, let's pour in. This last bit in. Button her back up. In. I did just check the mileage on it and ended up being 379 miles since the MOT was done and now, so give or take 10 or so miles, less than that. That's probably the shortest oil change interval in history, maybe. So, well, certainly for this car. Now that I've managed to use the car a little bit, there's things that need fixing on it. So probably the biggest one is there's like a bit of a vibration on idle, which I think I've mentioned before as engine mounts. I've got some engine mounts, I've got some Corteco ones, but it's not that bad for me to tackle right now, considering we're just coming in to winter. Sky might tell you that. Just coming into autumn, winter. Don't really want to be tackling that anytime soon because it's not an easy job on this car. I think one of the sides you can probably get to easily. The other side I don't think you can without sort of maybe exhaust manifolds, upper suspension arms which I've just taken off, which I'll tell you in a minute about, and all the tracking's been done, so I don't want to mess around with that. So I'm going to leave it for the minute. It's annoying because it doesn't feel nice, but it also sort of, it makes a vibration on the exhaust, the big centre box. It makes it sound like there's something wrong with the exhaust, but there isn't. At the same time, there's another vibration when you're setting off or when you're in sort of stop, start, slow traffic, and that is the prop shaft centre bearing, which is, you know, sort of common on these when they get to this sort of age. I'll see if I can get underneath and show you with the light. I'm not sure if I can with this. I'm on the bigger camera today, I'm on the Sony. But yeah, it's got like just a split at the top, and it's not causing any problems when you're up and running. And we have tested it on the motorway now, and it runs absolutely smooth as on the motorway. But yeah, just that sort of stop start, you can feel it. So I've got a new one, and I've got a genuine one. It's a GKN Hardy Spicer, same company I believe now, so it's original. That's sat in the garage ready to go on. Again, not a super quick job, but not the worst in the world. I'm not sure if I have to drop the exhaust for that, so I'm going to put it off as long as I can, but the parts are there ready to go. So MOT wise, yes, it did pass its MOT. I think I probably gave that away by saying I looked at the MOT and the mileage. So it passed its MOT, no advisories, nothing major, sailed through. However, I think I ended the last video where I'd done all the brake work, and then I'd fit the wheels, and then I took it for a quick drive, and there was definitely something wrong with the suspension. It was knocking. So I got Siobhan to drive it for me, and I crawled underneath and just watched what was going on, and it was the front lower suspension arms. I think they're hydraulic filled on this, and they'd failed, and so you could see it moving about and knocking about. So what did I replace? The both sides, obviously, lower arms. I replaced the upper arms whilst I was there. I haven't touched the rears, I haven't replaced anything, but I did undo all the bolts, grease everything up so that the guy could do the tracking properly without any issues, because I've had the Range Rover before at the garage, and they said that they couldn't undo the nuts, so they couldn't do it. So I took them off and did that. I think I'll just get a quick shot and show you, because obviously, me being me, cleaned everything up whilst I was there. Let me put it in access height, not in access height, in off-road height, and I'll just crawl underneath and see what footage I can get. Oh, let's have a look. I don't know if you can see. Not the brightest, but that there was the joint causing the biggest problem. So this has been replaced with is it Meyle? I think it's the uprated ones which don't have the fluid in, so I don't have any problems in the future. So that's been done. Oh, you can see I'm sad. You can see I write all the torque settings on in paint pen, so I don't have to worry about it in the future. Looking up in the manual what the settings are. Yeah, I've done the drop links as well. Can't see my fingers. I've done the anti-roll bar links as well with the same. They come in the kit, so they're good to go. And what else did I change? I didn't change the steering track rod ends because they were absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with them, and I think that's it. I say that in 2 seconds, but it took me a bit to get them off, but they're off, and they're all the tracking's been done. Full wheel alignment, front and rear, using what they call the Hawk. Can't remember what they're called. The good machines. So that's that, and let's see if I can crawl further and show you the prop centre bearing, and I'll get the torch for that one. It was a Hunter, I think I was thinking of. Let's get that torch. Not sure I'm going to be able to get the angle that I need on this camera, but it's in there. Centre prop shaft bearing in there, and I think this is giving enough light without the torch. I need 2 hands. It's a little bit of movement. It's definitely not the worst I've ever come across, and it's making, well, all the vibration issues on the car. It's making this big box here vibrate just sometimes when you set there idling, which is just a bit annoying. So there you go. If there's any ever a reason to straight pipe it, maybe this is it. Maybe. Let me know what you think. So that's that. Let's get back outside and show you what else needs doing. Oh, actually, whilst I'm here, I had the aircon regassed after it came into the country. I think they must drain it on export or something like that. So all new seals, as you hopefully have seen in the previous video when I was doing the engine work up front. But I've noticed there is, come over here, there is a leak from that hose there. Not this one, that one. And I'll go even further underneath. Don't think I'm going to be able to show you, the camera's too bulky. There's another connector, there's two I think up there, because it's got the climate control for the rear, the 7 seats. The aircon goes all the way to the back, that's also leaking. So it's one of those, it's just been filled up. There's no sense in doing it now. I may as well just wait until it stops working, the aircon, considering it's coming into winter. I'm not going to be using it much. Wait till it stops working and then I'll change those seals and get it regassed. Let's get out. Well, whilst here you can also see the car is in very good condition. This is just surface rust. I need to protect this with some Lanagard or something. But the side steps need changing. Pretty rotten. So I'm going to get some black ones to replace this mess with. Right, okay, next. You can probably see straight away that's gone all milky. Now they didn't say anything at the MOT about it, but it's getting there. Don't think this one is quite as bad, it's worse around the edges. If you've watched my previous video of fixing the Range Rover, which you can't see, it's in the front, I've swapped these out, and this, as far as I can tell, is exactly the same, where you have to cut them out. Obviously take it out of the car, cut them, the lens cap off, not put them in the oven, and then repair them. Now this one, I don't think I need to do any spray painting. I sprayed some of the inlays black on the other car. This one's all just chrome reflective stuff, so there's nothing really to paint. Maybe that, but it's probably no point. So that's an easy job, but I will paint these reflectors black like I did on the other car, because they just look gash. I think they look crap, and we don't need them in the UK. So that's on the list. I've already got those to go on. Got those from China. Problems, let's keep going with problems. Here in the back, I only spotted recently, there is a crack there. Pick it up on the top brake light there. Now the light works fine, so does the rear washer, but what I've noticed is, and I can't tell if it's from this, but I'm assuming it is. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, I don't think it is. This glass was immaculate because the car was detailed, and there's water marks on the inside of the glass there. And I did spot some drips the other day when I was using the rear wiper. I thought it was on the outside and it wasn't. And I can't see, I think from tracking it, it's pooling down from this bit at the lowest point when the boot's shut. So it can only be, as far as I can tell, there's nothing wrong with the seal. Like I say, that would probably present different problems down here. And there's nothing really wet in here, so it's minimal, but it's there. Must be, as far as I can tell, this light. And for those who know, you know it's a bit of a pain. Compared to the Range Rover that bolts in, this is bonded in using like a sort of window adhesive. So I have got a replacement. I did go for genuine Land Rover, I didn't go for a China one, just for that reason, because if you've got to bond it in, what a pain it will be having to do it again, because on the Land Rover and the Range Rover I have had to replace the China one now because the LEDs just break. And if this has lasted this long, well, it's what, 62 plate, you know, 13 years or so, I'm quite happy to put a genuine one in. It's about £100, something like that. But so I'm gonna have to cut it out, use some fishing wire or something, or smash this up and then pull it apart, clean it all up and then bond the new one in. So that's probably something that's bumped up my priority list because it is leaking in. I did also have a little bit of a leak, or so it seemed. The passenger side carpet was wet, and this was quite some time ago, but it's not been wet since. It's really weird. I thought it might be due to the drain channels for the sunroof or something, so I've got one of those really long flexible cleaning brushes to see if I can clean the channels out and see if the problem goes away. But yeah, it's not really presented itself since, so I've left it well alone. Right, last thing, seems a bit trivial, but, and you can see because we've been off in the countryside again this week, this car's got no mud flaps, and as a result, I can't really show you because the other side's against the fence, it's not easy to see, but I've got two brand new, I'm sure they're brand new because I went over this with a fine tooth comb when I was washing it, to brand new quite big stone chips on that side. So not really happy about that, is what it is. So I'll fix them, but stop them coming back and getting even worse. I'm going to fit some mudguards. Again, you can pay, don't know, maybe 100 quid for some genuine ones, or you can pay, I think I got £16, maybe £15 delivered for some Chinese knockoff ones, which look like probably exactly the same without the Land Rover badge on it, and they might even turn it with the Land Rover badge, because they sometimes do that. So, but I'll show that in a future video, and it should just be simple fix using original fixing points. So that's it. Oh no, one more. It never ends, does it? That's my videos, they never end. Again, one of the previous videos, if you watched it, on the other side, again I can't really get around there and show you, this cap here on the passenger side is where the lock barrel is. There was always something wrong with the little plastic cap, little catch on the inside that someone's mullered with a key, getting the cap off. So, and I didn't realise on the Range Rover, I don't think you can do this, but on this car, these are just skins that you can replace. And I was always planning on painting these black anyway. 40 quid delivered, which I think is quite good. Or some skins that are gloss black, which come with brand new caps here and clips on the inside. And I've already got them in the garage, so that'll be something, that'll be a quick 10-minute thing, which will just enhance the way the car looks, but also that one on the other side's about to fall off, and when it does, it'll just look crap. So I promise that's it for the things which need fixing that I'm aware of so far. And that's it. I did say that was it for the things which need replacing, but there's other stuff that I want to do to the car, modifications, cheap, quick, easy stuff like AliExpress sort of stuff. And I can't wait to get to that point. And you car guys know, it's sort of, when you get a first car, it's like, let's just make it work, make it run sweet, and then you can start worrying about the little mods. I can't wait to get to that point. I've got a stash of stuff in the garage. There's other sort of stuff as well that I want to do, mods I don't have in stock, but upgrades, like for example, there's no flappy pedals on this, and I do actually miss them that I have on the Range Rover, because sometimes you just want to do a quick overtake, and you can knock it over to the left and put it into sport, and it does drop down a gear. But it's nice to be able to have the flappy pedals, so that even when you're in drive, I'm assuming this is how it works in this car, hopefully, even when you're in drive, you can just knock it down a gear, and then when you stop doing it, it'll just knock it back into drive again. So I'm quite lucky on this car. This has got the heated steering wheel, because they're not very common on eBay to buy. So I'm quite lucky that this has got heated steering wheel. And I think the cutouts are standard. You see the little cutout there. I think there's something missing for there, maybe. I don't know what that is. But the flappy pedals, there's some separate cutouts which aren't on all of the steering wheels. So I need to at least buy a second-hand steering wheel that's got the cutouts at the back here, and the actual flappy pedal buttons. I think, and there's a little wiring loom which connects the two together, and they just plug straight into the original wiring loom that's inside the steering wheel. So I'm on the hunt for a cheap second-hand one. You can buy a kit from Powerful UK for about £100, but in reality it's just those buttons and the plastic shroud at the back. And also, this is something else that irritates me, probably nobody else in the world this irritates, but on this car, I'm just used to BMWs doing it the sensible way, in my opinion. Makes sense. When you put it into sport and you can change the gears, up is to go up a gear and down is to go down, and that sounds simple, but if I'm going quickly, I'd expect sort of like a sequential gearbox. You would pull it down to change the gear up. It's just quicker, so, you know, so it just irritates me. So I don't know if I can reverse the polarity on the wiring inside here. So at some point I'm going to have a play around with this and see if I can reverse them round, change the pins or something in the plug. But there's stuff like that which is just not necessary, just a bit of a mess around really. And then yeah, so thanks for sticking around. As I said, hopefully this was a short one. Some of the previous videos have been pretty long because there's been a lot of work that needs to happen to get it to this stage, and it's working. So hopefully now we can just enjoy the car a little bit. But thanks for watching, and subscribe if you haven't already. Any support would be much appreciated. And stop rambling on now, and I will see you hopefully in the next video.